right, all you hardcore wrestling fans, welcome back to another week right here on UPN 44 for IPW Weekly Recap. I'm Aaron Royal, and as always, I'll be joined by Ron Neimi later in the show. But fans, this is a big one. This is our 6-month anniversary right here on UPN 44. Not since the heyday of Gordon Solie and Dusty Rhodes and Championship Wrestling from Florida has a show been on the air this long, and the buzz about IPW is bigger and better than ever. But you don't just have to watch us here on TV. You need to come check us out at the arena, Saturday, February 23rd, 8 p.m. at the Florida WrestlePlex. It's IPW Reborn, and we get badder and bloodier than ever. But fans, let's talk about what's coming up on tonight's show. First, we have a three-way dance between Sedrick Strong, Rico, Casanova, and Special Ed. Then in a special hardcore challenge, Chaos attempts to run the gauntlet against several IPW competitors. Then we have NWA Wildside tag team action as their champions Blackout go up against IPW's very popular Young High Flyers in Risk Factor. And then the main event, it's David Young from NWA Wildside taking on one half of the Shane twins, T-Bone, Todd, Shane. And that's all coming up right here. Fans, let's go to our first match right now. All right, fans, here we go. I've got Ron Neimi with me for this big 6-month anniversary show. And coming out now, a guy making his IPW debut, Ron, Sedrick Strong.
Sedrick Strong, the brother of Roderick Strong, the newest member to IPW Hardcore Wrestling, and he's facing, making his return to IPW, Rico Casanova. And if I know Rico, this guy's got an agenda because he's always got something going on.
That's true. Last time Rico was here, he aligned himself with Mr. Peskin and others that wanted to take IPW down. You've got to wonder if him being back in IPW is a coincidence now that Mr. Peskin's here, or if there's something up both of their sleeves.
Rico coming back stronger, stiffer, and a hell of a lot more angry than I remember this guy. He's here to make his presence. He's here to make a point. He wants a shot at that IPW Cruiserweight Championship, actually the Florida Unified Championship, and there he is, one of the most popular wrestlers in IPW, Special Ed, right off the short bus.
Yeah, just got back from the short bus, and this guy, I tell you what, you can make fun of him, his name is Special Ed, he acts a little bit goofy, but he's racked up some big wins here lately in IPW, and is starting to be taken seriously as a Cruiserweight contender.
Now, Special Ed, I don't know how you can't take this guy seriously. Here he ducks a clothesline and gets leveled by a huge powerbomb by Rico. Rico, I'll tell you what, he's impressing me here in his return.
Tell you what, Sedrick Strong also looking impressive right there with that pancake-type maneuver there on Rico Casanova. Let me tell you the thing about Rico. Not only does he look stiffer than he ever did, but he looks a little bit more agile as well. This guy's improved his game by leaps and bounds since we last saw him. And as a cruiserweight, he's got that size advantage. He's barely a cruiserweight. He has the strength advantage over these two smaller guys.
Every time I try to talk to Special Ed about what went wrong and what went right in his matches, look at this. See, that's the inexperience right there of Special Ed. He's getting taken here by this Special Ed making his debut in IPW, getting a nice backslide for, nice 2 count there.
Actually, that
Come on,
Strong,
mullet.
Cedric Strong, you meant to say, making his debut, and this guy has some nice maneuvers. Talent obviously runs in the family. Roderick Strong, his brother, as you said. There you see Richie Rich standing way back, just letting this action take place. But as we've seen in the past, if they get too hot and heavy, Richie Rich not afraid to step in the mix. But there you see Special Ed stepping into the mix with a drop kick to Rico's back, and then he's taken out by a clothesline by Cedric Strong.
Cedric there is the clean up right after Special Ed. Special Ed is always babbling on and on about his older brother Corky and how nobody be picking on him if Corky was here. The fans are rallying behind Special Ed. I'm not sure if they really like this kid Sedrick Strong because he's got a little bit of a chip on his shoulder and a little bit of an attitude. He carries himself even in the dressing room. I'm not quite so sure I like this kid's attitude in the least bit.
Well, Ron Neimi, there seems to be a lot of people you have a problem with based on your own personal agenda. But that was a nice blockbuster-type maneuver there, but with the guy facing the other way, and drops Rico right in his head. And if it's not for Special Ed coming in to save the day, this match should be over.
Now, if you listen to Rico any single time he's talking, he'll tell you that he's the former partner of ECW superstar Nova. That's why a lot of people call him Rico, former partner at Nova.
That's true, and don't forget, he did wrestle Sid down in Puerto Rico.
He did wrestle Sid for the WWF heavyweight title, according to him. Somehow nobody can find that tape. But the truth is, he's here in IPW, and again, he's really taking it to these two guys, and now he's outside the ring selling while Special Ed takes over on Sedrick's
Through Rico Casanova, by far the veteran of the group, and there you see why. He let Special Ed and Sedrick Strong just hurt themselves as Ed crotches himself on the middle rope, and here comes the veteran off the top rope. Huge leg drop right across his throat, and if he doesn't pin him right now, I'll be very surprised.
That's where the arrogance comes into play with Rico Casanova.
Oh, and here's where the three-way dance aspect comes into play, because Rico had this match won, but he just got speared by Sedrick Strong, who appears to be wearing the evil Superman shirt.
He is wearing the evil Superman shirt, and the way he just speared him half to death. Look at him getting, oh my God, what do you call that, a huge choke slam type maneuver?
That was a full Nelson into like you said, a choke slam type maneuver, and Rico Casanova might have this thing wrapped up if he didn't just keep telling everybody that he had it wrapped up.
And he hits him with the fisherman suplex, and it's funny that they call that because Rico,
oh
my God,
beautiful super kick, and Rico's out of the ring, and you're down to these two rookies, Ed and Sedrick Strong. What's he going for, Ron?
He's going for the short bus, and this is one of the most lethal moves in wrestling.
Beautiful leg drop right across his throat. 1, 2, 3. There you go, your winner and cruiserweight contender, Special Ed. We'll be right back.
Able Body Temporary Services, Tampa Bay's #1 source for temporary workers. Whether your needs are in construction, hospitality, light industrial, or event staffing, Able Body has you covered. Able Body is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to solve your company's temporary staffing needs. Whether you're in need of one worker or an entire crew, give them a call today at 727-771-1111 or visit them on the web at ablebody.com for the location nearest you. When you need temporary workers, think Able Body.
Whether it's great food in a family atmosphere, NFL football, or WWF pay-per-views you're looking for, Extra Innings Ballpark Cafe is the place for you. Extra Innings Ballpark Cafe is located at 1850 Central Avenue, downtown St. Pete, directly under the 275 overpass. Extra Innings Ballpark Cafe is the official home of IPW Hardcore Wrestling, and you'll find all your IPW Hardcore Wrestling stars at Extra Innings Ballpark Cafe after each and every show.
Be sure to catch Pro Wrestling Weekly, Tampa Bay's #1 pro wrestling radio show, hosted by Shannon Rose and Barry Horowitz, each and every Wednesday at 7 p.m. on AM 1040 WWBA.
Fans, this right now, you hear Shannon Rose introducing Chaos. This is a special hardcore challenge by the guy that seems to always be holding the hardcore title. This is Chaos, and right now you hear him. He's challenging anybody in the back to come out. 24/7 rule is in effect. No, we're not talking about Quickie Mart. We're talking about anytime anybody can touch the guy anywhere in the building, they can become the hardcore champion. And there you see the first guy to accept the challenge. It may not be William Conrad, but that is Cannon.
That isn't the debuting Beretta. That isn't the debuting Kojak. That's the debuting Cannon, who promptly has a dagger stuck into his forehead and starts to have the flesh torn from his head, Chaos style.
I tell you what, Ned Flanders there, Jim Bragg, a little bit shocked. He's more of a wrestling referee, not necessarily a hardcore referee, but you get the job you're told to do here in IPW. And what do you know about this Cannon kid? All I know is he comes out of nowhere to make his debut and immediately start getting sliced open by Chaos.
Now, who in the hell comes out of the dressing room when the clown in the ring is challenging everybody to a match, and as he's challenging them, he's holding on to about an 8-inch gigantic blade that he's ready to scalp the next guy that gets in the ring with him. Who charges the ring? I'm going to tell you who. Cannon does.
Yes, he does, and that shows you just how bad wrestlers want to become a part of IPW, that they would put themselves through this just to get a shot, just to get out in the ring, just to get on TV with IPW. And you may not give this guy Cannon a lot of credit for brains, as he just said, but you got to give him a lot of credit for having guts, and guts is what we're all about in IPW.
The chaotic cult led by Chaos is the epitome of hardcore. It doesn't matter if it's Chaos, Axis, or David Young. You see Cannon take him over with a nice hip toss, followed up by a wicked leg drop. I think he crushed his head with half of his back there, but that isn't enough to take out Chaos, who hits him with a nice inverted DDT. That's it for Cannon, I guarantee it.
1, 2, 3. You are absolutely right, Ron. Opponent number 1 down. Let's see who they're going to bring out for him next. And Ned Flanders says, hardly ho, Chaos. You just won.
How do you clear out the carnage of somebody like Cannon and come in the ring with a barbed wire baseball bat? You have Snow, the former IPW television champion, who promptly tears into the back of Chaos with that vicious weapon.
There you see Shannon Rose trying to help out Snow a little bit, was holding Chaos's leg. Not very smart, and I hate to even give Shannon Rose credit for guts. I think he just got caught in the ring accidentally. But here you see Snow. He's held that TV title. He wants to show he can put the hardcore in IPW hardcore, as well as a guy like Chaos. These guys have had some run-ins lately, and Snow comes prepared with the barbed wire bat, knowing Chaos has just wrestled one guy, and he may be in for his second shot of gold.
Now on February 23rd, right here at the Florida WrestlePlex, you're going to see hardcore action just like this. You're going to see some of the best competitors in the world. Justice Payne from Combat Zone Wrestling coming to the WrestlePlex. Is Chaos going to challenge for that world title? Is it going to be Billy Fives? Who's going to get in there with Justice Payne? Either one of these two animals could get in there, and it might be one of the most violent matches in history.
I tell you what, Snow came in and immediately opened up Chaos. He's bleeding like a stuck pig out there, and now Chaos is just returning the favor there to Snow. I would not want to be Jim Bragg. Heck, I wouldn't even want to be the hardcore princess at ringside having to watch this carnage up close.
You go to IPW-hardcore.com and you can find hundreds of pictures.
Another
just
inverted
like Chaos
DDT here,
He
or regular
drove his head
DDT
into
for
the
that
mat
matter.
is what he did,
And
Aaron.
there he takes out another huge man in Snow, but he's standing up, ready to go for more. He said he'd lay down the gauntlet, and he's waiting for more challenges.
20 minutes into this match. Maybe it's edited at home where you can't see all this sickness. There's only so much we can show. But now you see Frankie, Capone, and Python. They hit the ring to attack Chaos. Sure, the belt is up 24/7, but not even Chaos can overcome the double lethal combination of Frankie, Capone, and Python. This has got to be the end. We're going to be seeing a new hardcore champion real soon. I can feel it, Aaron.
All right, Ron, I missed a little bit about what you were saying there, watching the lovely Coral at ringside, as I seem to do sometimes, but I'm sure you were talking about just how brutal that Frankie Capone has become since he started here in IPW. He was a little cruiserweight guy. Now he's in there fighting the likes of Chaos, and here comes even the odds. Axis, big double clothesline as he dives over the top rope, and he's like, I'm here to get you, my partner in blood, Chaos. It's time for the chaotic cult to take some names.
Axis isn't going to sit back. Oh, my God, he's got to have the stiffest kick to the face that we've ever had at the Florida WrestlePlex. He almost murdered Snow with it a few weeks back, and now he almost decapitates Python with it. And look at the knockers on. Who is that?
I don't know, but she's nearly as big as Axis, and she accompanied him to ringside. We didn't get to catch it on the camera, but did you all just see the athleticism of Axis a couple minutes ago as he leapt with both feet directly from the floor up under the ring apron just to come to the ring and throw Frankie Capone around like that?
That's how the hardcore giant Ron Neimi enters the ring, but that's beside the point.
What?
You got Coral with one of the most beautiful sets in professional wrestling, and she is a goddess in her own right. But who is this girl that's at ringside? She seems to have her sights set on Axis. She's not booked on the card. She's not part of the roster, but she seems to look at her looking at Axis. Who is this? Do you have any insight I don't know about, Aaron?
I'm not sure. It looks like he might have met her at the gym from the looks of her arms there. And I tell you what, if I'm Coral, I'm a little bit worried about having the hardcore princess and this new femme fatale of IPW out at ringside, and she's smartly staying away as Python takes it to Chaos and chops him right in the corner.
Now, Chaos has been through two wrestlers already, and he's getting chewed up. He's going through the meat grinder that they call Frankie Capone and Python, and you got the beautifully hot goddess at ringside, Coral, standing
Nearly
there
a 3 count there, Ron. But
Don't ever cut me off when I'm talking about Coral and how hot she is.
I don't ever cut you off, Ron Neimi. Everybody knows that. But right now, Frankie Capone comes in with a stiff kick right to the underarm of Chaos. And these two guys were smart. They came in 2-on-1. They knew Chaos was already weak, and they're going to do what they can to try to have one of them get this hardcore title, or, Ron, maybe impress the bookers that be and get themselves a tag team title shot at Quickie Mart.
Now, what the hell is going on here with Axis? His partner's getting destroyed in there. Do you think maybe this new chick that's at ringside that's ogling Access, that's over there trying to seduce him with probably these 38 double D cannons? Do you think maybe she's working for Frankie, Capone, and Python? Do you think maybe that she's some mystery lover of Coral and that they're making out and they're kissing with their tongues and feeling
All right,
each
Ron. Sorry to interrupt you there. Actually, no, I never am. But the only thing I have to say about that tirade is she hasn't seen 38 double Ds since a couple operations ago.
Absolutely.
And Ron Neimi, as always, adding insightful commentary to mine. And there you see the two biggest men probably competing right now outside of the Shane brothers in IPW, and Python taking it to Axis right now. Both of these guys only been in the sport a short amount of time, but they're in there with a couple of veterans in their corner, so you can't underestimate either one of them.
February 23rd at the WrestlePlex, you're going to see Axis, you're going to see Chaos. I have no idea if you're going to see this mystery woman at ringside, but I can guarantee the Hardcore Princess is going to be there. There seems to be some type of animosity that the Chaotic Cult hasn't been talking about. There seems to be something brewing underneath. There seems to be a hell of a lot more to this story, and Python and Frankie Capone look to be in the right place at the right time. They just got to stay at the top of their game and stay on Axis while he's down. Whoa, wicked chair shot.
Yeah, but right
Frankie
before
Capone.
the chair shot, Axis caught a low blow from Frankie Capone, and that'll put that even the biggest of men. And Frankie's taking out Chaos with that chair as Python gets the 3 count on Axis.
3 chair shots from Frankie Capone to the cranium of Chaos. He levels Chaos, and unfortunately for Axis...
And here comes Rick Thames out of nowhere. We haven't seen him here in a while. Former one half of the Southern Posse, former IPW hardcore champion in his own right. And quite frankly, him and Chaos like each other just fine. They just like to fight each other even better.
Gentlemen, Rick Thames doesn't... What the hell's going on here? Forget about Rick Thames returning to IPW. No matter how big a news it is, I'm sure Chaos are going to rip each other from limb to limb. But what do we have here? Do we have the makings of a cat fight?
And look at the look on the Hardcore Princess's face. And I tell you what, Ron. Sorry, I missed your cue there, Ron. Fans, I don't know what's going on between Chaos and Axis or between their two women right here in IPW. You see Shannon Rose ogling them out at ringside. Hardcore Princess still can't believe what's going on. Fans, we have lots more action here to come in our 6-month anniversary show in just a moment.
Once again, fans, this is IPW Commissioner Honest Eddie Edwards, and this is the IPW Event Center. IPW returns to the Floirda WrestlePlex Saturday night, February 23rd for IPW Reborn. Contact the WrestlePlex today for the very latest in ticket information. Already signed. A title versus title match as IPW Champion Billy Fives battles Combat Zone Champion Justice Payne. In an Indie Superstar Dream match, Sage Nakai takes on Mike Quackenbush. Justice will defend his Florida Unified Cruiserweight title against Joey Corman. Then, fans, after March 29th at the WrestlePlex, Saturday night, March 30th, IPW returns to the Crystal River National Guard Armory. This March weekend will be one of IPW's biggest of all time. As always, for the very latest on all of these events, be sure to check out IPW-hardcore.com.
Hey, this is Cal Edenputz from the Steel Cage on Sports Radio 1010 The Team.
And you're watching IPW Hardcore Wrestling on UPN 44.
All right, fans, you just saw it. Chaos, as usual, taking that hardcore belt to another level. He's able to run the gauntlet of a couple of the bigger, more hardcore guys here in IPW. But when it came to that tag team match, him and Axis going up against Frankie Capone and Python, they came up just a little bit short. Kind of like you.
I told you the first week of this program to stay off the short jokes. It's 6 months later and you're still trying to rib the hardcore giant. But Chaos basically ran the gauntlet, protecting and defending that IPW hardcore title. No, he didn't defend against Luciano the Gauntlet Benetti, which unfortunately is right now taking a little bit of time off from IPW hardcore. But Chaos and Axis, they weren't able to get the job done against Frankie Capone and Python. As a matter of fact, from what I understand, there's a little bit of dissension in the ranks between Chaos and Axis. I don't know what to make of it, but on February 23rd, you're going to see a lot more of this story.
I tell you, and fans of ours that know a lot about Chaos, the whole Chaotic Cult, are our fans in Crystal River. And right now, Ron, you've got a big, big announcement for all our fans up in that area.
The contract has been signed to return to Crystal River. People from Lecanto, you're not safe anymore. IPW Hardcore, the Hardcore Giant, 911 Incorporated, and all the best wrestlers in the independent scene invade Crystal River again. March 30th at the Crystal River National Guard Armory, the return to madness. That's the original House of Hardcore for IPW. It is going to be sick, it's going to be violent, and it is going to be one of the most talked about returns in professional wrestling this year.
Crystal River, that's like when WCW was able to get up in New York, go into Madison Square Garden. Fans that have seen us before up there know exactly what we're talking about. Fans that have only seen us on TV, you have no idea. We're going to go up there, and you think we turned up at the WrestlePlex? You ain't seen nothing just yet.
But, you got to talk about February 23rd. IPW Reborn. You have some of the best competitors coming in from around the United States. You got Justice Payne, the Combat Zone Wrestling World Heavyweight Champion. He's defended the title in Japan, Mexico, and Germany. He's going to be right here at the WrestlePlex defending that title. You got Joey Corman coming in from Texas. One of the
best. Is that Harvey's brother?
No, it's not Harvey Corman's brother, unfortunately. But he is one of the best cruiserweights in the entire independent
All right, Ron, listen, real quick. It's been 6 months. What was your favorite part of this whole time?
Obviously.
This is mine. Fans, on to the match.
Yeah, come on, Aaron.
All right, fans, as always, everybody wants to come wrestle down here in IPW, and these guys are coming down to defend their NWA Wildside Tag Team titles. It's Blackout.
Blackout, the NWA Wildside Tag Team Champions, led to the ring by Big Business Brown, somebody I can't stand. But what you got to look at here is the future of IPW Hardcore Wrestling. You're looking at the young superstars that have been, oh my God, they're getting handed to
Look
them
at these
already.
guys. Blackout, that's why they're the champions. They're not waiting for pretty entrances for TV. They're taking it to these guys right away. Fans, that's Kamikaze and Roderick Strong. We saw his brother Sedrick earlier. And let me tell you, when Roderick Strong finally made it to IPW, finally made it to the big time, his dad was all shook up.
You talk about risk factor, you talk about wrongful death, Quickie Mart, and now you got Blackout down here in IPW. That's just the tip of the iceberg when you talk about tag team wrestling. Beautiful arm drag by Kamikaze, taking it to the tag team champion, and Big Business Brown looks really concerned.
Yeah, two great arm drags there by Kamikaze after a series of chops back and forth by both individuals. And I don't think Blackout expected this from these young guys. I'm not even sure I did.
IPW Hardcore Wrestling, IPW Reborn, the 23rd of February, 8 p.m. at the Floirda WrestlePlex. You get to see some of the best competitors from around the world. You got Mike Quackenbush, a Northeast independent star, coming in against Sedrick and Key. Right now, you got in the ring the Wildside Champions, getting it taken to them by two of the best up-and-comers in IPW.
I tell you what, they may be a young up-and-coming group, but oh my goodness, what a beautiful, what was that, Ron?
That was a sky-high inverted headbuster deal.
Yes, it was sky high. I couldn't remember the name. Rod Steele calls it something else, and I didn't want to insult these guys by besmirching them with his name.
I believe they call it Moons Over Miami.
No, that's a sandwich, Ron. It shouldn't surprise that you talk about that. And whatever this move is, looks to be brutal. Oh, my goodness. It's a backbreaker with a knee and then a drop kick right to the face. And the tag team champions seem to be showing their veteranness, if that's even a word, if you will. Oh, my goodness. Big double slam there by Blackout on Roderick
Slam.
Strong.
It's a double choke slam that they threw him about 15 yards up in the air, and they destroyed this kid. They made short work a risk factor. One of the best tag teams in IPW, Wildside and Blackout. You got to take these guys seriously, Aaron.
We do, and we'll be right back. Main event time, fans. Here comes David Young along with the Hardcore Princess. He may be from Wildside, but he's also a member of the Chaotic Cult. And how appropriate is his opponent for this match on our 6-month anniversary show. We started out our very first show with a Shane brother in the ring against Scoot Andrews. That was Mike Shane. And now we end it on our last match for the 6-month period here with Todd Shane, his brother, coming out with you, Ron Neimi.
Listen to the pop. Listen to the crowd reacting to the Hardcore
That's
Giant.
all for Todd Shane.
You're talking about #1 babyface Todd Shane? I never thought I'd see the day. Look at this guy, he's over. And who's that? Oh, that really good-looking guy. Actually, that was me, I believe.
Actually, I don't think you should talk about David Young in that manner. He may not like it very much. And I tell you what, David Young, we talked about it before, a great competitor all over these United States, great indie talent. And there you see Todd Shane taking it right to him. He may be known as a tag team wrestler. And look, he says he's pulling his hair. It's Star Stevens is saying, "What you talking about there, buddy? You ain't got no dang hair."
That's exactly what he said. And you know, Aaron, on March 30th, IPW Hardcore Wrestling returns to the Crystal River National Guard Armory. LeCanto will never be the same. Mike's Friendly Pub, look out, here we come. Crystal River National Guard Armory, they're going to have Todd Shane, David Young, the Hardcore Giant, and unfortunately, Star Stevens, we're invading.
All right, Ron, I tell you what, we just missed some big, brutal clotheslines there by Todd Shane as you were talking, and David Young bailing to the outside of the ring. But don't get me wrong, I am absolutely just as excited about this Crystal River run as you are. Fans, if you want to check out more information on that, you can check out 2 different websites. Of course, IPW-hardcore.com as David Young gets unceremoniously flipped into the ring. And now he has a big power slam coming up here by Todd Shane. Look at that guy. He may not be British Bulldog, but he's darn powerful. And fans, that other website, real quick, is ProWrestlingDaily.com. Get all your information on the Crystal River Show and everything else in IPW at either of those sites.
You go to either one of those websites, or you can call the Floirda WrestlePlex at 727-526-6778. You can get all the info you need for the February 23rd show at the Plex, the March 30th show at Crystal River,
Ron.
and there's a low blow right to the groin of David Young.
2
laying
low
it on
blows.
Todd Shane. That's ridiculous.
It was actually right to the groin of Todd Shane from the foot of David Young, but I understand you're a little excited.
All the groin talk gets me going sometimes.
Yes, it does. I heard that. Look, here comes Hardcore Princess, finally having a purpose at ringside, sticking her nose in the business there, and gets a little love slap to Todd Shane.
She don't want to be pulling that face that close to her cleavage. Todd Shane is a deviant. He's somebody that's been thrown out of our newest sponsor, Diamond Dolls, one of the best exotic dancing businesses in the entire country, let alone in St. Petersburg. Diamond Dolls, the official home of the deviants of IPW Hardcore.
Very true, Ron Neimi, and they've only been our sponsor for a very short time, but Shannon Rose has already spent the most money anyone has ever spent at that establishment.
Shannon Rose, known as what do they call him? The human
ATM.
Human ATM. He gives dollars to anybody that taps him on his shoulder. If you see Shannon Rose, go by, slap him on the ass.
Actually, I see Shannon Rose right now. He's acting like he's taking pictures of the match, but he really just wants to get close to Hardcore Princess.
He just
as
slipped
she
a dollar.
chokes out your man Todd Shane again. It's usually your guys and Ron Neimi giving out that kind of punishment, but there you're taking it, and I'm sure you didn't like it very much, Ron Neimi.
She's lucky I'm not the kind of guy that bitch slaps somebody right across the face for sticking their nose in our business.
Oh, yes, you are.
Well, okay, maybe I am.
You just didn't get across the ring.
Now, Star Stevens not giving the fair shake and not giving the count that Todd Shane deserves. We should have got the win right there. After the match, I asked Star what the hell was going on. He said, "Ronnie, I called you right down the middle, brother, and I don't like the accusations."
All right, Ron, you see, by way of editing, David Young taking over this match. We're about 25 minutes into this encounter right now, fans. One of the best matches I've seen at this level in the card in ages. And let me tell you something, Ron. Your boys, the Shanes, a little about Crystal River. Isn't that where they lost their first tag team titles?
See, you're bringing up all the bad history up at Crystal River. What you're not bringing up is this is 20 minutes into the match, and this 300-pound monster, Todd Shane, is taking it to David Young, and he's not even close to blown up yet.
I tell you what, if he'd gotten him in that finishing maneuver, it would have been over. But there's the big gourd buster by David Young. 1, 2, 3. That's it, fans. And I don't know if you call that an upset or not. These guys evenly matched. But what I do know, fans, it's been 6 months. We thank you all, and we'll be back next week.